Let's get going. Let's freaking snake, rattle, and roll. Obviously. Obviously. Oh, this one's good. Watch out for nibbly pibblies, it says here. It's true, flying carpets and Bigfoot. This game was unhinged. It's very weird. It's excellent, though. Short, excellent. Crazy hard. One of those short, crazy hard NES games, you know? Yeah, this is by David Wise. David Wise also did music for, I think, Donkey Kong Country? Is that right? He had Battletoads. He did Marble Madness. That's crazy. I didn't know that. He did California Games. Man, I didn't know he did all these games. He did Solar Jet, man? Yo! This guy's on everything. This guy did my entire NES library growing up. Yeah, Donkey Kong Country. A lot of Donkey Kong things. Diddy Kong Racing. Wow. Yeah. Lots of things. A lot of things you would know. Jeez. Crazy good. Did Snake Pass? Man. Did not know that. Zoomies in No Man's Land. What a handle. Good to see you. Konstantin, thank you for rolling in without me prodding you. So I usually try and warn people, like I don't know, the week of kind of thing. Let me sidechain this. Like the week of kind of thing, I would let people know, hey, just so you know, it's this Thursday. You know? Because yeah, time passes. And I don't know when you first got in touch, but it wasn't recently. So thank you for your patience while we worked through the waiting list. Speaking of which, I have done a whole lot of scheduling in the last few days. Well, yesterday. And due to the sheer volume of submissions, I have opted to return to the 2 reviews per stream format. Because, yeah. Otherwise, our waitlist would currently be in late November. Just so long. That's so long. If you're looking for feedback on stuff and it's like, okay, cool, I'll get back to you in like 7 months. It's like it's not ideal, you know? So trying to find a balance here between having adequate time to look over your stuff you're sending in and also not being too long of a wait. So we can't, if we're doing it, you know, game audio demo derby style where we're doing, you know, a dozen plus 20 people in the span of 2 hours, that's, of course, it's going to be, you know, the quality and depth of the feedback is going to go down and down and down if we have more people, obviously. So I feel like the 2 people per stream was like not the worst. I felt a bit rushed, but it's probably a me problem. I'm just talking too much, right? I imagine. This seems solvable. Just talk less, Kevin. That's the answer. These tunes are crazy. This soundtrack is a masterpiece. It's the kind of thing where, I mean, how many NES soundtracks do you know that have a clear identity? You know? Clear identity. It's not a given at all. It's catchy. It's so good. All right. So, Konstantin, you've been looking forward to Well, looking forward. You didn't say looking forward. You've been anticipating yourself getting grilled. Yeah, I mean, it's like grilled-ish. It's all very much mutually supportive, you know? No one's looking to roast anyone. It's fine. Unless you're a Nuno Bento, in which case I absolutely am roasting you. Because you're roasting yourself. All right, Jovertones. I now know who this is. Awesome. Looking at your stuff. Sometime? When do we say? July 4th. There you go. Looking forward to it. Let's do it. Okay, this is Real Talk. We're going to look at some stuff from Konstantin. What's it again? Zlatkov. Zlatkov. Konstantin Zlatkov. I might be brutalizing that. I apologize if so. I'm sorry. My name is often pronounced wrong, so I feel bad when I do the same for others. Yeah. Let's do it. Looking forward to it. Close enough. Okay. Jesus. That's generous. Yeah, we're having a look at this website and demo reel stuff from a few different angles. And here are the angles down below. Presentation, material selection, content quality, and distinction. These are some criteria that myself and Clay Entertainment's Matthew Martinson thought up in a Waves coffee shop in 2016 after... Geez, what was it? Something prompted this stream to happen. It was an actual thing that happened that made us want to do this. I don't know if around the same time there was an absolutely terrible Reddit AMA from someone who was claiming to be in-game sound design, but all the responses were just wrong. It was like, I'm a game developer. I'm making my first game. When should I get audio involved? And then they're replying back being like, as late as possible. We're like, no, don't. That's the exact opposite that we're always trying to tell people. And it got a lot of traction, like hundreds and hundreds of upvotes on r/games or something. It wasn't even like an obscure subreddit. And then so Matt and myself, and I think Jay Fernandez did a rebuttal AMA. It was internet audio drama. So ridiculous. But anyways, I think it was around that same time that we kind of decided that, you know, the internet could use some more structured feedback, because it's like people would post their redesigns to Reddit or wherever and say, hey, what do you think? And people reply back saying, it's awesome. So good. It's like, no, it's not. It's not great. It's fine. It's not great. There's a lot of room for improvement, but it's like the, what's the phrase? The deaf leading the blind leading the deaf, or something like that. Just people who are students who don't have trained ears yet, giving feedback to people who don't have trained ears yet, and it's like, this is not good. So, anyways, here we are, 8 years later, still doing it, trying to keep it consistent if we can. And yeah, these 4 things. Presentation, we're looking at the website. We land here. Here it is. We're looking at the flow. It's 1:16. Is that extra 7 to 16 seconds necessary? We're going to find out. We'll look at things like information provided. Not much, it seems, but that's okay. We'll see if it's necessary. And also just general flow stuff. Just if the reel leaves me asking a question, is there an answer somewhere? That kind of thing. The second thing, material selection. Just what has Konstantin put in this reel and the portfolio, and what do those various pieces suggest about their past work history and current skill sets and future ambitions? The third thing, content quality. Just, is this stuff good? There's a lot of room to be honing your craft in the realm of balance and panorama and frequency range and dynamics and dimension, interest. All these things come into play. So I'll certainly have my opinions. I'm sure people in the chat have theirs as well. Feel free to share those. And last thing, just distinction. Are you standing out in some positive way? As there are hundreds of people looking for the gigs every time. Especially AAA things. There's like hundreds and hundreds of folks applying for these gigs. So if you aren't standing out in some way, positively, it could be not even for your audio. It could be just your website slick as. It could be you have a cool photo next to your bio. It could be any number of things. Just are you standing out? Because that might not even mean you get hired this time around, but it might mean that you are memorable. So next time you apply, you stand out even more. Or perhaps someone else outside wherever you applied just knows someone in that studio and says, hey, you know somebody? And perhaps you just missed that gig by a nose, so close, and you got recommended for some other gig instead. Like hell, we do that. This track's insane, by the way. You hear that? Like, what was that? It's like so funny, man. It was funny when I was a kid. It's funnier now, like working in the industry. It's such an unhinged section of this track. All right, enough of this snake rattle and roll. Also, I was gonna say, we made a reel. Power Up Audio has a reel. We did have a reel a long time ago, mind you. I should try and find that really quick before we get too deep into this. But I should have it if I scroll all the way down. I think I can find it. I meant to bring this up before I... yeah, legacy voiceover reel. Jeez, there it is. And so we can play. This is the. So we had a reel, big air quotes. 11 years ago, says YouTube. Look at this. There we go. 2012. Well, I guess 12 years ago, kind of 11 years ago. It was posted October 2nd. That's one day after our incorporation date. Look at that. So, yeah, we. Jeff and I, my co-founder Jeff. Hey, Alexander. Jeff and I came from another company. We kind of like left that company, and then some time passed, and then we kind of reconvened and thought, hey, let's try and make our own thing. So, given that we couldn't, I mean, he and I had worked on somewhere in the realm of 300 games at our previous company, but we couldn't put those in our reel for Power Up because those weren't Power Up audio projects. So I would be happy to tell you personally over a beer that I worked on voiceover for League of Legends and did audio for Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy for the Wii U and other various random projects. But we couldn't put it in the reel, right? So instead, we opted to make this voiceover reel. It has no visuals other than just a bouncing meter and our old logo. And it's so long. 2.5 minutes is crazy long. For audio only, too. But I don't know. I'm sure I played this on stream before at some point. I'm not sure in the chat if you indicate if you heard this before. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. But let's have a listen just to compare and contrast before you hear our new reel 12 years later. As some time has passed. Okay, 3, 2, 1, and...
Power Up.
Hello, sir. 1 extra large pepperoni, and here's your free silly bread.
They never asked for this.
We gotta get out of this temple quick! And judging by that countdown timer over our heads, we've only got 3 minutes and 28 seconds left!
I can't move! I'm pinned down by enemy fire!
Hey, good guys, I'm reloading. Now would be an opportune time to come out from behind cover.
Never mind.
Well, hey there, cowboy. You sure made some fine decisions back there at the character construction menu.
Listen up, you maggots. This here's your standard issue knife. Silent and lethal. She can be your best friend or your worst nightmare. Effective range 0 to 15 meters, depending on your latency.
A wild blue
This is so long. It's a minute so far. Let's keep going.
slime appears.
Alright, gang, here's the plan. I'll attack him once, then I'll wait around until he makes his move. Cecil, listen, I know we sold all your armor 2 towns back, and the only thing you got equipped is that pot lid, so I guess. Defend?
Hey, look, it's Commander Cooper. He's the hero from Earth who's on a one-man suicide mission to save our galaxy from an unstoppable alien invasion. Hey, Commander Cooper, can you help me find my dog?
With all new weapons, enemies, and side quests, the long-awaited Duck Duck Goose DLC is finally taking flight.
Wow! Look at all this super cute crap on the screen!
Foolish mortal. I must put you to a largely useless fetch quest trial to prove your valor. How useless? 5 red roses, 3 griffin's feathers, an ivory shoehorn, 2 unsharpened pencils, 10 popcorn shrimp, and a Hawaiian hula girl dashboard ornament. Now go!
There you go.
Power up audio.
That's right.
Drop it in. Play it loud.
The tagline we never used again ever. All right, there you go. Okay, applause. Thanks, Power Up. Good job. Thank you, Power Up Audio from 12 years ago. Appreciate that. Yeah, so the idea being we can't show any of the games we'd worked on, but the idea was let's make something that showcases sound design and music and voiceover kind of all in one. We called it a voiceover reel. It really is more of a show reel, I guess. But just indicating, hey, we're very much in the game space and we know games, and hopefully using these like jokey things that are designed to a high quality to appeal to people who are in the game space. And it kind of worked here and there. It's got some views over the last 12 years. All right. So the new one is very, very different. Now we have worked on games at all. So we don't need to be making up nonsense fake games to have audio only of. That was a rough sentence. Sorry about that. Okay, let's go. You ready? It's quite different. We released this Monday of last week. 3, 2, 1. There you go. Very, very different vibe. Like extremely different vibe. A lot of work. I've been chipping away at that since January-ish. Thanks, Oscar. Thanks a lot. Yes, thank you for the claps. Appreciate that. It is weird showing our reel on Real Talk. I was throwing it to some pals before we released it, especially those clients and partners for whom like their work is in the reel, right? And just saying, hey, is this cool? Are we using like is the presentation of like title and your name like looking good, et cetera, all these things. And actually one person, excuse me, who got back to us said he had the recommendation to do the nameplates at the end, right, for all this stuff. Like bap, 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 bap. Just like all these. And previously they weren't there at all. It was like a rapid fire thing. But I kind of like how it ended up with all the names there. Just very much like, yeah, you don't have time to read this, but that's kind of the point. So it was weird making this thing because we definitely were actively, I mean, I made this thing. So like I was actively subverting the things that I say on Real Talk all the time. Because it's like, don't put music in your reel. Make sure that you give enough time for each clip so you can kind of settle in and have establishing shots and tell a full story and that kind of thing. Like, didn't do that either. Yeah, it's definitely a very different approach, but it's important to consider that your reel should probably be crafted to suit wherever you're at in your career and like your place in the industry, I guess. And if you're brand new and have nothing to show yet, or not nothing to show, but you have no professional credits or few professional credits, it's a little more difficult to make something flashy or kind of like sizzle reel style. But in this case, we kind of decided, this reel is more of a list of credits than it is an indication of our abilities. If we just simply say, hey, here's a bunch of things you might know, that's kind of enough at that point, because then the work speaks for itself. It's not like we need to be convincing people with the things they're hearing in the reel. It's more like, hey, you know these games, right? And if that's all we get across, then we're happy, But yeah, so overall, this thing took me like 100 hours of work at least. I don't know how long it took. I wasn't logging the hours, but it was a lot. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. And it's not quite a minute. It's like 59 and a half or something, 59.47 seconds. So there you go. Yeah, stoked. Also, there is secret spectrogram stuff at the end. Ooh, did you know? Also part of the reel, part of our MO, putting secret stuff in our audio. Okay, thanks everyone for watching, and I know some folks are getting feedback and saying nice work and so forth, so thanks for that too. Anyways, not really while we're here, let's go ahead and talk about Konstantin's work, shall we? Are we stoked? I'm stoked. So we're at kaudiodesign.co.uk. I'll zoom in just a hair. There we go. We got K Audio Design. Top left, we got About and Contact. These are different pages. Okay. Sound redesigns. Valorant Cinematic Riot Games. Kanon? I don't know this game. This is new to me. Tendril Studio. And Team Fight Tactics. Operation Override. Riot Games. All right. So 17 seconds is short. 30 is short-ish also, but not too bad. 42 is great for like kind of full-length redesigns, quote-unquote. Other audio work. Okay, so we have redesigns and then already into other. So it's not a whole lot here. Not a lot. But we'll see. Okay, I'll read this in a second. We'll go to the About first, shall we? Let's browse a little bit. Here's the About, and Contact is just that. Fill out the form or simply use the email provided below. Like, you don't need to have this here. I don't think. I doubt that this is people's first day on the internet. Just contact me with this beneath. They'll say, oh, it's an email address. It's fine. I'm just a big fan of trimming the fat, right? Cut down wherever you can. Oh, we have sound. So we still have sound redesigns and other audio work here, even though we're on the contact page. And it has contact down below too. So if I go About, same thing. We're gonna have sound redesign still. Yeah, that's weird. So I'd expect this to be demo reel your portfolio of things and other things, front page. But these are on all the pages. That seems unintentional. Like it's a bug with the, what does this do? Play? What does this button do? What the heck? There's one here too. Oh, it's the background. You see that? The little particles? Okay. But this one has nothing, right? There's nothing back there. And this one is also chilling. Okay, so it's only one can play at a time. Scroll down. Oh, that one, this is the same button as this button. Okay. All right. And if I press play here. Oh, no, they are independent. Okay, well, weird. I don't know why this button exists, but they exist. Back to about. All right. Okay, long-ish. Pretty long, actually. So we'll stop here. We'll ignore this up below this. Only purple area. About me. An audio professional with an extensive amount of experience in audio and music. Okay? I've always been an avid gamer and music enthusiast. I've been playing video games for as long as I can remember. I take inspiration from titles like Prince of Persia: Warrior Within, nice, World of Warcraft, Counter-Strike, League of Legends, Mirror's Edge, Portal, Devil May Cry, among many others. Around the age of 15, I started learning how to play the guitar. This, alongside my participation in my school's extracurricular radio podcast, introduced me to the world of sound recording and editing. Ever since then, I became completely hooked on learning how to use all the software and hardware I could get my hands on, and have been spending a decent chunk of my time every day since to improve. Okay. Yes, you say ever since twice there. That's okay. I began studying music production and sound engineering in the UK back in 2016. After graduating in 2019 and working multiple unrelated jobs, around 2 years later, I decided to specialize in game audio. This launched me into the orbit of game sound design. Alongside working a part-time job, I spent the majority of my spare time in the last 2 years developing and honing my skills. Okay, and we go on. I have been fortunate to be mentored by two highly experienced sound designers, Braden Parks and Paul Stoughton. Their guidance and expertise has allowed me to gain valuable insights into industry best practices, advanced audio techniques, and effective collaboration within a professional sound design team. This mentorship has not only deepened my understanding of game audio, but has also instilled in me a strong sense of professionalism, attention to detail, and the drive to constantly push the boundaries of audio excellence. I have a solid base understanding of implementation using Wise, which I can also practically execute on. Okay, that's kind of a strange way of saying it, but yes, I understand. So far, I've used Wise with Unreal Engine 4 and am working on uploading a video soon that demonstrates my ability. Yeah, we'll come back and talk about this stuff. I like to fill my spare time with video games. Bet you didn't see that one coming, huh? Hilarious. Dungeons and Dragons, board games, music production, concerts, swimming, and ice skating, amongst many more. All right. This is long. It's definitely long. You can afford to edit things down pretty significantly. Yeah. Let's go through in a little bit of detail because we have time. By the way, I will be leaving a bit early today for my mom is visiting Vancouver and we got to go to the airport. So I'll be out of here like quarter after probably, latest. But we'll see how long it takes to get through your stuff, Konstantin. Make sure we won't cut it too short, yeah? So an audio professional with an extensive amount of experience in audio. Okay, so this right here is a sentence fragment. An audio professional with an extensive amount of experience in audio music. It's just like you're just naming a thing. It's you. So this is very bullet pointy, but it's written like it's the first sentence of a paragraph, you know? I am an, you know, hi, I'm Konstantin Zlatkov, close enough, and comma, an audio professional, etc. You know, so it's, the first sentence being fragmenty like that is kind of weird. It caught me off guard. I've always been an avid gamer and music enthusiast. All right, I've been playing video games for as long as I can remember. Yeah, these are in a lot of bios. So it's like a little bit generic. It's not the worst, but it's a little bit. I take inspiration from. Cool. I don't know that this is... I mean, these are pretty different games. You know, Prince of Persia, Warrior Within, and Portal are, yes, AAA, but there's not a lot of crossover there, you know? And like World of Warcraft and Counter-Strike, same thing. These are crazy different games. So this feels... I'm not really learning about you that much from this. I like the approach of having that kind of thing bullet pointed down here. You know, inspirations, favorite games for audio, whatever you wanted to have as the title of a list, and just boom, 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 put them there. It's a nice kind of little thing to pepper in at the end, but to have as your fourth sentence as the games you like, it's maybe early. You know, I want to learn more about you first. So, around 15, guitar, cool. This alongside that's great too. Podcast and school. Ever since then. Yeah, so ever since then, I became completely hooked on learning how to use all the software and hardware I get my hands on. And this is a long sentence. I mean, this... So, if we are to believe that ever since then, you became completely hooked on learning how to use all the software and hardware you can get your hands on, then it can be assumed that you've been spending a decent chunk of your time every day since then to improve. You know? Like this, you can just get rid of entirely. Period. Hands-on. Period. You know? This is just extra information that we already know. I began studying music production and sound engineering in the UK back in 2016. After graduating in 2019 and working multiple unrelated jobs, this is not relevant to, like, if you worked at a pub as a bartender, I don't super care about that in this bio, you know? I mean, I also, like, that was my story. I went to college for music composition and then did nothing with it after graduating. I bartended for like 5 years and then went to Vancouver to do game audio. You know? I guess that's part of my story, but it's like, this is already a pretty long bio, so maybe... I mean, just saying you went to school for this stuff is... fine, I guess. I suppose you're trying to say, like, I know time's passed and here's the reason. Like, I was doing other things for a while. But maybe you just don't even need to worry about that. You know, just saying you took a music production and sound engineering course in the UK. Yeah, I don't know. It just this feels a bit clunky is all. There might be a way to rephrase it without, you don't need to be like untruthful or like omit, oh, I've been working other jobs for a while. It's just not super relevant, you know? So, yeah, so this launched me into the orbit of game sound design. You were thinking of having it in there for the recruiters trying to establish my little experience. Yeah, other jobs. It's Paracha. Good to see you. Okay, so you were thinking of having it in there for the recruiters trying to establish my level of experience. And you're saying it essentially just to mention you've worked on other jobs. What other jobs? Like, what are the jobs? Out of curiosity. You know, no judgment. What are the jobs? Again, I bartended and worked in a science center watching sleepover science camps, like for kids, you know? They sleep in the Star Theater under the stars. And then some group leader adult calls me on the walkie at 4 a.m. and says that little Susie threw up in the hallway. Like that was my job, you know? Call center and sales mainly. Okay, I mean, yeah, sure. But the thing is, Konstantin, like they're going to look at this. They may have that question. They can ask that question. You know, if they see you went to school in 2016 and finished 2019, and some time has passed, certainly, but they can see your front page has redesigns, which means you haven't been working in games. Because redesigns are an indication that you want to work in games. They are indications of the kinds of games you want to be working on, right? So they can draw that conclusion. They'll say, okay, so you have these redesigns and you went to school for this stuff, and what you been doing since? And that's a fine question to ask. Say, oh, I've been working part-time jobs while honing my skills in game audio in an effort to break into the industry. That's a fine thing to say. No one's going to look at that and say, ugh, you mean you didn't get a job right away? Like, that's totally fine. And really, if you're showing that you've got, if you are demonstrating your abilities through redesigns, through the wise thing you want to do, which we'll talk about in a second, various things, they won't really care how you've been spending your time as much, because it'll be clear to see that you've been learning stuff and honing your craft. They will have listened to it, right? They aren't going to read this until they listen to your bio listen to your reel. They won't read your bio until they listen to your reel, because if your reel is not good, they will have no reason to read your bio, you know? But if your reel is cool, at least a bit, then you will have invited them in to see just a little bit more, you know? There's a space right here. Look at that. Phantom space before the eye. I have been fortunate to be mentored by 2 highly experienced sound designers. Cool. Their guidance and expertise. Maybe you link to them. Is that weird to link? If you're naming them, can you link to their, I don't know, pages, LinkedIn, something? Just like me, like who? Because I don't know Braden Parks personally. Maybe I should. Let's find out. Braden Parks Audio. Audio lead Bonfire Studios. Oh. I know this company. They did... Are they like a support team or something? I feel like they don't have their own IP. They like to work with other teams. I don't know for sure. I've heard of this company though. Damn. Yeah, I feel like having some indication of who this is might be worthwhile. Their guidance and expertise has allowed me to. Okay, great. I mean, yeah, sure. Makes sense. Okay. Cool. This feels a bit more like CV stuff. Or it's not CV, like cover letter stuff. You know? I don't know that it's super bio-ish. Because if you're applying to a company, like you're going to be writing a cover letter. And I don't know that this being here is going to be what tips the scales for them to get in touch and say, yeah, sure, you're great. Because really, think about the order of things here. There's some job, I mean, given the kinds of games that you like, I'm assuming you want to work in AAA, and given the League of Legends or was it League or was it Teamfight Tactics? It's Valorant and Teamfight Tactics. Given that these are the things we've seen so far, without even listening to anything, I assume you want a AAA gig. So let's think with the order of operations here, right? Some AAA team has a position available. You know, Riot puts up junior sound design position. You know, hiring. And you say, cool, you apply. When you apply, you will have included your resume and website link and portfolio and stuff. So this, what we're looking at right now, will be the primary application piece, probably. And you'll include a cover letter, likely, talking all about you, what your deal is. This right here is a great thing to include in your cover letter because it's part of your story, and you've been getting this mentorship. And the thing is, to receive mentorship, you need to be putting yourself out there at least a bit. Because I'm not like I have some various mentees that I work with here and there and have calls with and that kind of thing, and I'm not searching them out and saying, "Hey, do you want a mentor?" You know, it's they've been referred by someone, or they've reached out directly, or whatever, or I met them at GDC or something. So just there being a mentor and you being a mentee, like that relationship is already indicative of your involvement-ish. That's great. Like your interest and involvement in the industry. And the mentorship doing things for you, that's like assumable. That's what mentorship is, right? It gives you a window into certain techniques in your craft, or certain things to learn about the process of game development and professionalism and detail, the things you're listing off, right? So this here, like this sentence here, these are your mentors, is great. All this stuff could be true of any mentee in the world, So this here, you're just describing what happens if you're mentored. So it's not really, in my opinion, a great use of space and time, more importantly, on this page. I don't think it's the worst thing to have in your cover letter, because it's like, yeah, this is what you feel you've learned from this, and sure, you can be a little more verbose, a little more in depth on your cover letter, but your bio could afford to be a bit more snappy. So moving on, I have a solid base understanding of implementation using WISE. Okay, so yeah, I see. I realized you claimed that, and as soon as I read this sentence, or up to the word wise, I should say, I began thinking, okay, but is it in your reel? Because looking at your reel, it's a minute 16, and then these things, they don't add up to a minute 16, but it's, what is this? It's like, that's almost a minute exactly, and then we have minute 30. So it's like 14 seconds more, 13 seconds more. So I was wondering if there's going to be some jump scare wise element in the demo reel. And if there isn't, I was like, okay, well, you can claim it, but we'll see. And then which I can also practically execute. So you claim which I can also practically execute on. So it's not just understanding, it's you can do it. I mean, this part here, I stopped at while reading the bio, right? I thought it was kind of phrased strangely. I don't know if English is your second language with a name like yours. I imagine it might be, but this is definitely a bit strange, because if you have a base understanding of implementation using WISE, I kind of assume you've been doing implementation using WISE and not just reading the documentation and then like walking away, But again, claiming this is so much weaker than, as you say, having a video showing something, commentating something. I mean, if you have that video on your front page, the need for this like entire section, or these two sentences, I guess, like these two sentences, the need for this is as absolved. We don't need it at all, because you just have the video showing your chops, right? You just can say, hey, here's me in WISE and UE4 or UE5 or whatever you're working in. Pretty cool, right? And then I don't need to be told that you know WISE. Yeah. So I began to say as well, it's always kind of unfortunate seeing like I'm working on something right now, because it might sound kind of mean, but like we don't care. We being anyone who reads this thing, because anyone can say I'm working on something right now, and and I really don't want to sound like rude or like I'm trying to cut you down or something. That's not the case. But again, it's just we're talking about what is effective in terms of not only getting your skills across, like communicating your skills to this person who's arriving on your page and might not know you very well or doesn't know you at all. And combining that communication with just setting yourself apart from others. And this kind of thing, saying you're working on uploading a video soon, just it's almost worse than not having it. But it's just tricky because if you don't have it at all, like this sentence, and you also have no whys at all, that's not great either. So the best thing is just to get that video done and put it up. Because saying it'll be done soon, sure, but I'm hiring right now, So it's just, this just doesn't do much for us. If soon is tomorrow, then hell yeah, let me know and I'll come back and watch it. But if soon is in a month, then I will probably have hired somebody by then, So yeah, it's just unfortunate because like not having that kind of content on your page is not great because that's kind of where the bar is. Like having that commentated content is just what's getting people hired these days. And then just not having it but saying you will soon is kind of the same thing as not having it, So because it's the same, there's no real benefit to saying it's going to be there soon, and just adds more words to a page that's already kind of a lot of words. So, but up to you, of course, up to you. It's the kind of thing where when people do say that, I do want to see it, Like if you put it up, Konstantin, like please DM me and say, hey, it's up. I'd love to check it out. Because that stuff takes time. I know video content, making anything video takes time, a long time. It's very, it's not a trivial thing, TM Base, what up? Mike Logan, what's up? Good to see you. Okay. By the way, great pictures. So good. These action shots. Recording something. I don't know what this is. Can I open this in a new... Oh, I can't even... It's like a website thing. I can't see the... Can I inspect the source? Can I view the... Where's the inspect? Where is it? Inspect. Can I see the image? Open in new tab. Yes. It worked. I am a true hacker. Okay. We got various things. We got a what's that, like a steamer lid or something? Lovely. Got the knife. All right. Cool. Various things set up. Various things. Wonderful. Good images. Can I close this? I can. We were saying just last week, I think it was Amin Larbi, right? Is that what it was? I was roasting Amin because the image is not that, right? It's like this kind of thing we were saying last week is like, yeah, lovely, fine picture of you, captures your vibe. You're looking great, looking chill, but you can see why a picture like this is like just a little step higher as far as a good thing. Mind you, I assume this was at your school. So it's like there is that to consider too, because when you have images of you with gear, the question is that your gear? And probably not. But it's like it's still it's a wonderful picture and shows you're doing the audio thing, So it's a great sweet spot where it's a picture of you doing audio things and doing audio things on your own time with your own stuff. Does that make sense? It's kind of a similar concept to there being student projects in your portfolio versus there being personal projects in your portfolio. The student project isn't negative, but it's not as good as a project you did on your own time because you wanted to. It's like the same kind of correlation there, you know? So still room to improve. If I'm wrong and this is your studio or it was you like doing a recording session or something on your own time, then that's really cool. But just given this right here, talking about your schooling and so forth, I kind of assume that's the case. But who knows? I don't know. Let's go back to your main page. 12:53. 20-ish minutes to watch stuff and talk about things. So what is happening here? A square quotes. It's in uni. Yeah, that's a safe assumption, of course. Not a lot of us have, you know, our 32, 64 channel boards. There's not a lot of space in our home offices, our bedroom studios for that kind of gear, naturally. Let's watch some things, shall we? Yeah, they all have that same weird thing going on. Strange. Oh, let's look at this first. So other audio work, most computers, Realme 9 Pro. I've had the pleasure of being responsible for the sound design and music for the new Realme 9 Pro 5G advertisement, working with the guys at Image Factory who shot and edited the whole thing. Oh, this is a period, not a comma. Period. Working with the guys at Image Factory who shot and edited the whole thing was a blast, and I'm really happy with how it came out. This is definitely a period, and this is a capital W. I took a more generous role with the audio. It involved recording, layering, composing, and mixing everything we hear. Okay, great. Yeah, just fix this here. That's kind of weird. Okay, full screen, full volume. We got no play button. Oh, it's here. No play button, he says. There's a play button, Kevin. Settle down. No side chain. 3, 2, 1, and go. Oh, fun finish. Cool. Thank you. Or, where are you from, Konstantin? Russia? Ukraine? I was expecting that in your about, by the way. I was very curious what your background is. Bulgarian. Oh, do I know any Bulgarian? I was going to flex some thank you. Is it like Blagadaria? Blagadaria? Is that right? I feel like no, is that Hungarian? Oh, man. I'm sorry. Oh, I don't know. I'm trying to say thank you in Bulgarian here. All right. So let's go ahead and talk more about this reel, shall we? Oh my God. I can't believe I got that kind of right. I learned that at my serving job in 2009 or something. Hilarious. Okay. So, here's the card in the corner. This is very unusual and really interesting. I didn't see it, by the way. The first time through, I didn't see this card. The thing is, I pressed play here, so my eyes were right in the center. I saw this, and then by the time I read this thing, it was Last Sentinel. So I thought you didn't have a title card, which is, I don't know, is that worth fixing? Hard to say. Interesting though. Okay, so this is very minimal in the corner. Very minimal. Very, very minimal. And I guess we're already here. No opening title card. I mean, this is basically no title card. It's so small. Maybe it's fine. I don't know. Your call. It's a strong start, though. You know, action right away. Just in terms of presentation stuff, it's good. So we have a side chain also. So, oh my God, the Zvi Sherman method. I didn't even realize. Look how nice and seamless that was. So inoffensive. Cool. This is slick, by the way. I don't love the all caps, all caps, all caps for all three things. It's kind of, just in terms of layout, formatting stuff, I feel like it's the presentation of it, like the introduction and the opacity change and stuff, it's all very slick. There might be room just for like one small tweak just to make it a bit easier to look at. Like the 3 lines is a bit unusual, and being all caps is just a lot on the eyes. So, yeah, maybe room for something. I mean, you have a different font at the end, too. You have this, right? This is the same font, I think, with a line through. Is it? It's a similar one, at least. Yeah, I don't know. But maybe have a different font beneath for what you did? Or something, or lowercase, or I don't know. Again, your call. Just that's my impression. Okay, and also in terms of more titling stuff, this one's higher, which I did notice. I guess it's there because of the UI being kind of busy. So be it. And the next one is lower again, but not as low as these ones. So it's kind of inconsistent as far as where it's appearing. I did notice that the first time through, but not the end of the world. Your call if you want to change that or not and keep it consistent. And then at the very end, this is a total curveball. This ending has like nothing to do design-wise with the rest of your piece. And your site too, by the way. Like this color scheme compared to the purple. I was waiting to see some bubbly purple stuff in your reel. And especially because the intro shot is purple. So I thought, like, the thumbnail is purple. So I assumed that you were going to have this kind of purple thing going on through your whole reel. And you didn't. So I was kind of sad. I mean, this right here, I feel like this line right here could be that same purple, couldn't it? Just make it this color, that lavender. Plum, mauve. What's that color? One of those. I mean, that'd be such a nice little tasteful way, wouldn't it? Just throw this in that purple color instead. Maybe have the subtext. Now you have Last Sentinel by Lightspeed LA. And then sound redesign in that purple or something like that. Maybe there's room for that, you know? Just to have a little bit more cohesion between your site and the content therein. Why not? What up, Maple the Fox? What up, Selfish Ego? Holy, been a while. Yo. Good to see you. All right. So, and as far as transitions go, let's see here. Start strong, and then we have this shot to the face. And then this change is just a hard cut with no real immediate indication of why it happened there. It's just like feet and then cut. There's no correlation there. There is some later on, though. Maple's been modding Celeste right now while lurking. I never get to check your streams. I'm always missing them. Has to be here. Yeah, cheers. Cool, cool. I hope that the Fmod stuff for Celeste has been helpful. What's this? Yeah, so pulls back, and then we're here now. So also not like the most obvious reason for a transition. But then you're an Fmod expert now. Good to hear. That's why we released it. This one is... Okay, so I like the transition on an impact. Love a transition on an impact. Yeah. Kind of sad there's no impact on the next clip, though. It's always nice when it's like, you have these whoosh in, and then poof, hard cut. Next clip starts with big impact of some kind. It's nice when that happens, but again, not the end of the world. And the end of the world that it didn't. Then this one, we cut at a little kind of blink, like it's been happening in the... Oh, I double clicked. Yeah, so cool time to transition, makes sense, certainly. And then this one, there's one more, isn't there? No, last one. And then we have the crossfade with audio remaining. Cool finish. Nice design. So, sneeze. I might sneeze. Oh, power through. Okay, so let's talk about some... Okay, well, very quickly, material selection. I mean, given your favorite games in your bio and given the various high-fidelity projects in here, it seems like you want that AAA gig, as you said in the chat, so that is coming through. Also, though, what the heck? We have these three things. All three aren't in your demo reel, right? Am I wrong? Valorant? Last Sentinel, League of Legends, Remnant 2, Out of Action, Hitori no Shita. Yeah, what the heck? So these aren't even in your reel. That's crazy. What are these? Okay. Yeah, sneezing is happening. Oh, excuse me. Oh, that's a long wind-up. Okay, let's go full screen. Strong. That's good. Next. The long one. Or longest. Nice. I love the sound design in this one, but the dynamics are really weak. It's very flat. Like when there's a big moment, it kind of falls flat because the loudness is low. And it's not me. Like this falling moment, that should be huge, you know? Like this here is quite literally a ramp towards the ramp in intensity. It's a moving wave of drama, you know? Bam! Oh, great whoosh, impact, design, all that stuff. Really good. But like, it's so quiet, Konstantin, isn't it? What the heck's happening here? Like what? This whole section here. Oh, and no Foley at the finish too. The last two footsteps. That's kind of it's an unfortunate finish. It feels like you exported a second too many, you know? You heard the creak and then no step. Yeah, too bad. Yeah, weird. This feels so strong, but it feels like you didn't finish it. It feels like you stopped short of the mixing stage or something. Yeah, this could use some, just pull things up, you know? Throw some compression in. I mean, it seems like you're not afraid to have in-your-face design. I mean, this clip here was fantastic for that. And it's weird playing these back-to-back because you have the loudness here in these impacts and stuff. Right? You have that loudness, and then you have this one right here-ish. And it's like, ha. It's such a small impact. So, and the thing is, they're left to right, so I'm going to hear this one after this. And the thing is, your work is good enough that I am invited to listen to more, right? That's a great problem to have. I want to hear more because it's good enough. If it was not good enough, I might be like, all right, I've heard enough, and then move on. So to listen to this and then have these kind of weird issues is unfortunate. But back to here. I mean, cool. Yeah, I saw you say you're doing a lot of redesigns and putting off doing your integration video. You got to do it. You need to. You know, if you didn't have these three and had one integration instead, that would be better. Certainly. But I mean, it's not a bad thing either to have like a lot of things you've done. Just shows you're interested and serious and it's fun for you. It's passionate, you know? Okay, let's talk about some content stuff. So the dynamics thing is one, certainly. It's a very common one as far as an issue to have for people who are kind of junior, like moving from junior to junior plus kind of area as far as their design ability. And it's just what I was talking about in that the Teamfight Tactics clip. It's a matter of saying, okay, what is the focus of the narrative, of the story, of this shot, of the cinematography? What is the focus over time? And what can I do as the sound designer, as the person doing the mixing, et cetera, to help support and drive that narrative? And if you have clips like that Teamfight Tactics thing, and we have this moment, I mean, this right here, this is such a great indication. We have this shot, boom, it's like, oh no, this looks pretty negative, something bad's happening, and then, oh, and it confirmed, it is bad. It's definitely happening. It's like the Squid Game thing, right? Just like moving wave of breaking glass. So it's flying towards you. And the design's cool. We have the kind of glass stuff, kind of digital distortion stuff in there too. It's all very on point as far as the kind of textures I would expect to hear. But this is a moving wave of drama towards an end point. And that end point is what's going to happen? Can't be good, right? And it's like a little bit of comedy too, a little bit. The kind of like, yoicks, at the very end. Like freeze. Oh no. And poof, there we go. So that moment, we got to ramp towards it. And the thing is, you've got that ramp elsewhere. You know, don't you? Or is it this one? Not that one. Where was this? You got a lot of like kind of real diegetic stuff mixed with just make it big kind of whooshes. Like woof, big stereo, woof, because it's cinematic. That one, woof, right? Nothing made that sound. It's just cinema stuff. Yeah, just a lot more consideration for that. Also, this first clip, I couldn't help but feel like it was just really dry. Really dry. I mean, we're in pouring rain, right? What's this shot here? I mean, yes, we are screeching to a halt, but look at this water, right? That is a big part of this shot. We have this like dump for the landing. But look at the water. It's such a massively present part of this environment and of this story. The water splashes, you know? Footsteps, splashing water everywhere. The water is a ever-present element, and there's a lot of space in between the action. It's kind of part of this storyline. It's like the John Wick thing, right? Very decisive action. Methodical, surgical. It's like dead, 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 dead. It's not nonstop, like scrambling or grappling. And there is some rain there, but oh man, is it quiet. It is so quiet. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of room to be further indicating things that are off screen as well, because we're kind of only hearing the guys we see, you know? There's gunfire right from the hop. See this? There's these orange bullets flying past. And we kind of hear it. We hear like, phew, 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 phew. And then we hear like the da-da-da-da-da of this gun. But we only hear it when we see the guy. Otherwise, we only hear bullet buys. But they're not that far away. I mean, look. You know? They aren't like on a hillside. And even if they were, you'd probably still hear that. So... yeah, everything you have there it's pretty solid as far as design. The guns are like kind of boring-ish, like da-da-da-da-da, but the close-up one is great. This one here. Like that low thing is really nice. And the Foley is like pretty good, but it's, I mean, you've got things covered, but you could probably be a little more detailed yet. And the thing is, if you had like crazy rain supporting this scene, then those details wouldn't be as obviously missing because it'd be masked, right? And we're fighting in pouring rain. That is not a small part of this shot. But if you close your eyes and listen to this, it sounds like there's a stream nearby or something. It's not like it's, you know, pouring rain, storming, whatever. So, and then on top of that, this clip you've chosen goes from outside to inside. You know? Yeah, it would be nice as well with this clip, like with this guy here is different, right, than these ones. This is like a dude. A man, it seems, right? Or is it a bot? I don't know this game. Last Sentinel. You got sounds and stuff, so I assume it's a guy. He's got fingers and stuff, right? There's blood. It's a guy. So, and then here we have a bot. So this here. Do you see this head turn? Right here. Huh. Right? Head turns. Why do you think the head turned? It's not because, you know, it's not because like he didn't hear something. He definitely heard something coming or saw it peripherally or knew it was there previously or whatever. But in this shot here, as we're walking up, that bot is not there, right? Or maybe it is, but it's hard to see. It's far away. So hit and then turn. Here we go. So that there, we should probably hear something. Huh, we throw, and then bam, there's time to be hearing something there as far as like during this Foley. We hear the enemy approaching, footsteps, stuff. Maybe, I mean, it's a bot, so you can be creative. Some bot-style sounds, right? And then we have that reach. That reach there, it's not like an arm, leather, grappling, you know, grabbing combat boom library thing. It is a metal robot arm, right? Huh, and dodge, right? Huh. There's a bit of like a bit of a servo thing there, clackety clack, but not much. You know, like really not much there at all. You can pull that way up. Again, the role being to support the story, and the story here is changing. This here is a significant shift compared to the guys he's been like one-shotting. One shot, one shot, one shot. Here it's like, oh, I can't just headshot this guy. This is a bigger, it's like a mini boss, right? So let's ramp the drama. We have like big ronk servo things, goes past and, you know, dodges the hand, whatever. And then, whoa, we're going to do a little block of the arm there. Do we hear it? It's a metal arm, yo. Bam. What's that sound like? Blocking a metal arm. And then here too, ping, we have that ping. That does sound different for the impact. But now we're pushing back. We don't really hear much of that bot. Is it heavy? Probably. You know, we hear like scraping on the ground as like metal against stone and you know, wet stone. And here as falls down, clackety clack. But like again, not much. What's this thing made of? Close your eyes. What's it sound like it's made of? Plastic or something? You know, wood even. It's like a. It just seems like you've got these creative ideas, like the indicates, yeah, it's a robot, but they're so understated. You know, we have the and the little clackety clack of the fingers and the ping and so forth, but all these things that indicate this is a robot. It's like a mech. All these things are so low in the mix, and if you know, just take that idea that you have, obviously, like you're not ignoring the fact this is a robot, it's a mech. Take those ideas and just crank them so that it becomes way more obvious that this is the story we are telling right now. You know, you're working with a team, you are putting the polish on at the end, you're helping to drive that story forward. It's so important. Bam. Like, I mean, all it's going to do is, that's it. Big sparks and stuff, you know? And I began to say as well, because we go from outside to inside, this is a great opportunity to shift that ambience too. Look at the water coming off this guy. Maybe we even hear the water like ting, 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 like a tin roof, you know? Raindrops hitting this mech. And then boom, slams open. Now we're inside, no rain. Or we hear rain outside. It's centered now from the doorway. So we go from like wide rain to a little more distant, centered rain. It's point source, right? And that gunshot as well could be way more. You have a lot more interior reverb, a lot more bang, you know, compared to doing it in the streets. Yeah, there's a lot of. I mean, we focused hard on this clip, but I feel like that is this. Everything we talked about here being your first clip in the reel as well. It's kind of indicative of the other issues, well, the same issues elsewhere. Just very dry stuff. Start thinking about what's happening moment to moment. This is a pretty strong clip, actually, compared to the last one. But it's just not very long, right? The first clip is a great one in terms of telling a story and going from point A to point B and having like waypoints in between and stuff. It's really good for a demo reel. And also not very common for a clip to redesign. So I think it just needs some work, that's all. This one too, it's like... Yeah, cool. I don't know what this game is also, and I have no idea what's happening in this opening section. Like, what is going on? Like, what is that effect? I feel like this piece is maybe just confusing. I know it's like it's a gameplay clip, and the other ones are all cinematics, and that's worth putting in there. But this clip is confusing. I don't know if it's only me. Like chat, if you all know this game Out of Action by Doku Games and you know exactly what's happening, then ignore me. But this clip, the first time through, I did not know what was happening, and I had a hard time following it. So Like, what is that? I don't know what's happening. Yeah. Cool. Yep. Yeah, it feels like the elements you've put in there design-wise that make various moments kind of special and less generic. So they move from, I mean, right here, for example, the very end, the very end, like charge and that moment. This just sounds like a rock impact, you know. But this, you know, freeze framing, this is far from a rock impact, right? There's a lot going on there. And you have a lot of design elsewhere. We're using synth layers and textures and that kind of thing that indicate it's not just rock. And that's the kind of thing that you can definitely stand to amp up in your design. Bring that to the forefront. Have those rock layers in there, sure, for impact and beefiness or whatever. Or as part of the layers, you know, there's some rock stuff happening there for sure. But it's not the full story. You know, just like this is not the full story, and the clack fingers is not the full story. Like, tell the full story. And the thing is, when you're telling the full story, you start seeing places where you can tell more of the story with sound. So we don't see this bot really at all. Like, maybe we see him back there barely, as like right there. But maybe you can start hearing him approach, and that's where you as a sound designer start like world building more. You are telling more story than everyone in this project has told up to this point. You can now take those reins and tell more of the story. That's when it gets special. So let's call it right there. I gotta go. Must go to an airport. Standing out in a crowd. I think your design's like pretty strong. It needs some love in terms of dynamics, in terms of certain like areas to offer some attention to. But the biggest problem, which you're well aware of, is that we just don't see any integration work. It's kind of slim as far as the content in here. And it's not to say anything about your dedication or the work you put in or anything, but just the simple fact is you're going to be outgunned by other people who are applying for the same position. Like, they will have that content and they will get the job. Just 100%. So you need to stop putting it off. Do those integration videos, all right? Okay. Really nice though, Konstantin. Strong. You had fun. I like when stuff is strong enough that I want to like keep clicking through and hearing more things, goes a long way. Okay, back to Snake, Rattle, and Roll, right? Is that what we're doing? Here we go. Yes, this insane track. Thanks everyone for rolling in. Again, if you want to submit your own work for Real Talk, you can do so down below at on Twitter at Power Up Audio or ReggieMK. And if you're not on Twitter, that's fine. I understand. That would make sense these days. Oh yeah, sidechain too. But if you want to submit elsewhere, you can do so on our website at powerupaudio.com. And I think we're currently looking at, well, let's see. Next slot is, I have one in June because someone canceled, but otherwise past that it's like August. So sometimes it makes sense. Folks will submit and then work on things in the interim, have a nice little deadline push. Not that people are working on things for us. Definitely work on things for yourself, but deadlines are helpful, right? So thanks so much, and I will see you in 2 weeks' time, yeah? All right, cheers.